Okay, I'm back with another Suzerain. Now, first of all, I would just want to say that I feel like we screwed up quite a big time because, without a doubt, our economy is doing bad. Is still terrible. Okay, I knew, I knew that the railway is definitely gonna give a better yield. Okay, but for me, since I go for the highway, like since I go for the highway, is that I was hoping to get quite a good relationship with Magnolia, and it turns out that it only didn't do that much. Okay, maybe it prospers Magnolia, but England, but nothing much. Now if you take a look at it, Nargis and Gelsland will, and of course the Fall Sword, it'll definitely give them a better will probably be a better choice because they're gonna benefit from the railway. Wow. And then, not to mention that maybe it will give a better, economy yield. And then next thing is that since we tried to make a lot of changes too quickly, the people are against us. And if we want to go for full change, we kind of should put a symbol on it, which is I should have taken Gloria. Okay, Gloria Tori as our VP when we replace when we have a choice to replace Peter, someone in Peter's position. Now that I think about it, since we are losing, what she said is true. Gloria always have a way to play around with my emotions, and she did with um she did with saying what we lose in conservative, we're gonna make it up with tenfold with women. I was like, God damn. But then again, since we're gonna fight with Lilias now, it at the very least we're not gonna be we're gonna lose the woman vote, but at least we have some ammunition behind our backs. But first, okay, I'm not sexist. I signed those into law, and then I even make Gloria my VP. And then if we ever have a debate stage, I can say what she want is she still want to put women in like she benefited because we learned yesterday that Lilia, she since her mother was only be able to give birth to one child, which is her, they wanted a boy, but in that sense they feel obligated to give her the privilege of a boy have, okay, or what a boy have. And so you can say we can if there's a debate, we can say she can pretend all she want, but she benefit from her family, which other girls couldn't. I think we can negate that woman factor that she had over there. Okay, in other words, she's a woman, but she's not for women's right. We can point that out. But anyhow, there's too many enemies, there's too many albatross around me. Oh boy, military parade. Let's check it out. We're having a military parade. It's to show off our might against Romberg. It was an unusual day for the residents of Holsort. Regularly used streets and avenues were blocked off by the military personnel. Many shops and cafes were closed, and once crowded stores are now empty. Instead, thousands of residents in Holsort were concentrated in one street, Victory Avenue. Stretching out through the heart of Holsort, people on both sides of the road were waving their Swedish flag proudly for the military parade. I was getting prepared to embark on my trip. It was going to be a short drive down the Victory Avenue until we reached the Maroon Palace. My company for this trip was Iosef and Sergei, as usual, driving the presidential car. Iosef approached me. He was wearing his decorated ceremony outfit. He carried a sword with a goat head at the handle. Huh? I thought it was just an ornament, not literally a goat head. A goat head at the handle and his pistol at his hip. He put on his cap. Mr. President, we're almost ready. We will depart right after the tank column. Rambo will think twice today. After today, they would tremble before the Swedish military might. After hearing the loud thump of a book falling down to the floor, he turned to a couple of privates that were doing the preparation on the schedule and started walking in their directions. Private, can't you do your job properly? I watched the soldiers perform a lousy salute to Iosef. What is that salute, soldier? Watch, this is a real salute. He performed an excellent salute. After scolding the privates, he walked back. Doesn't give much confidence that our soldiers don't even know how to properly salute. I will have him educated. Sergei appeared from the entrance and joined us. Mr. President, Mr. Lancia. Sergei performed a salute to Iosef, which made Iosef smile under his mustache. At ease, Wagner. Mr. Wagner. Are we ready to depart yet? Yes, sir. Follow me, please. We started following Sergei through the corridors. Mr. President, have you seen the tanks? Our planes too? Rambo will be scared when they see this. Now, we did have, since we joined Ado, basically like, well, a NATO version of this game, okay? And they've actually gave us like some spending for modernized Air Force. They provided us this active policy. Ado officers are working closely with our generals to share their modern strategies and tactics with us, as well as training soldiers. That's the plan. A great one, I say. My kids were very excited to wake up today, you know, to see the planes fly. Sergei, where did you do your military service? Morna, 7 Artillery Squadron. I still talk with many of my friends from those days. Camaraderie of military is never forgotten. I still talk with many from my days as well. How about you, sir? All over Sordland, you know. Mr. President was under my command once. Gumrun outpost. He turned to me. Do you remember those days? Not. I also remember the President did not like to execute direct orders from his superiors. I did what needed to be done, which was disobeying orders, but I won't delve into the past. We are here, sir. We exited the building and walked over to the clearance where the black Cadilla, the presidential car, was waiting. It was decorated properly for the event, and the top canopy had been removed so that I could stand and wave to the people. On the way to the car, generals and admirals were lined up on both sides of the carpet. The atmosphere immediately changed when these experienced men fought many times for their country saluted me. I saluted back with respect. I saluted the high-ranking military staff and attaches from Ado. We shook hands before proceeding. I entered the car and Sergei started the engine. Iosef saluted me and we were on our way shortly. Good luck, Mr. President. The car started rolling. Even though there were many walls and trees in between the cars and the crowd, I was able to hear the deafening sounds of cheering Swedish citizens. Gradually, we made our way to the starting point. Hopefully, this can gain a little bit of support. A group of 10, maybe 12 latest technology S-16 fighter jets flew above our heads, and I thought that the engine sounds was going to leave me deaf. Loud footsteps of the marching soldiers were followed by loud noises coming from tank engines. The tanks came into my view. They were not the most modern models, however, they displayed our military might. I couldn't even finish my thought, and one of the tanks broke down and had to be towed. Shit! We waited for a few minutes for the announcement. Finally, it was our turn. On both sides, Victory Avenue, there were numerous citizens cheering my name, waving the Swedish flags. Salute. Looking at the benches where the general staff was sitting at, I saw Tuckwinslow sitting next to General Vulcan. We kept slow at our slow and steady pace. We were almost at Arthur S. Whiskey statue, several hundred meters away. A group of soldiers saluted me as we passed by. They looked proud and stout in the new infantry uniforms and with brand new rifles. Probably like they get the funding from us, like undoing the conscription. Like in other words, like we chose, like these people really want to be in the military. We continue on as per schedule and arrive at the Maroon Palace, which marked the end of the parade. People also dispersed to their homes. A clear message was sent to Rumberg by the display of our military might. I hope they don't show off the tank. We were about to see whether it will be enough or not. Uh-oh. Will of the state. Uh-oh. I got a feeling today will be the last. Maybe. Eep. Geopolitical. World leaders together at Alliance of Nations. Read the report from scheduled for Alliance of Nations session. Minister of Foreign Affairs David Minsky will be attending the session as well as accompanying Mr. President on the flight. Wait, let me double check anything else. I, David Whiskey, and the rest of the Saudi delegation to the Alliance of Nations arrived in Beirut. The local police escorted us to the Alliance's headquarters in downtown Constantium, immediately recognizable by its gleaming dome. On entering the building, with a parliamentary guide who briefed us on the procedures, after strict security screening, the staff ushered us to the third floor. We entered the massive circular assembly hall and took our designated seat. David sat next to me. Give me a second. All of the world's most powerful people under one gleaming dome. Hopefully, like, I wonder if all the nation came by. It's amazing how someone has managed to fill a room with people that absolutely loathe each other. That is true. That is true. And I'm glad to be among them. Everyone's words and action here will change the world for better or worse. How are you feeling, Anton? Ever since what happened to Peter, I'm amazed that you've been holding up so well. I've seen you two hanging around all the time in university. He has been more than a friend to me, and I could have ever been to him. I wish I'd done more to help him. Yes, but we told him, we warned him. It is tough to be the president, making hard decisions and dealing with the consequences. Goddamn right, David. I wish I could have supported you more, but the time has been a cruel mistress. Like, I would have no problem with David being our chief strategist, but alas, he's getting quite old and he needs his rest. What you have done for me so far is far more than enough. Don't treat yourself so harshly. From the distance, you could see the president of the General Assembly, Mr. Nines, approaching his designated position. Well, the session is about to start. Let's get comfortable. It's going to be a long day. Mr. Nines opened the session with a short speech and called the first speaker to the floor. It is my great pleasure to invite the Prime Minister of Lesbia to address the assembly. Patricio Alvarez stood and walked up to the podium as the assembly applauded. Is he drunk? Mr. President, it is my pleasure to return to this podium. David leaned and spoke in a low voice. Let's see how crazy this session will get. I'm surprised he's not drunk. David chuckled. When I last spoke here, the message I gave was of encouragement and support to this organization and the vital role it plays. Of all the challenges of Eastern Macopa and the whole world has faced since then, one has grown larger and more imminent than any other. The threat of the so-called socialist states and the action taken by the authoritarian rulers with no regard to international law. A loud noise came from the table of Voxland. I saw Emmerich Hegel pounding his fist in his on his table in protest. Keep watching. Today, the need to come together as the leaders of the free world is more important than ever. The CSP, under the leadership of the United Contana, has been fueling Voxland military-industrial complex and its expansionist aim in Eastern Macopa. I'm sure that's not you guys. CSP, Contana Security Pact. Basically the opposite of ADO or NATO. The world cannot turn a blind eye with the increasing naval presence of Voxland in the Marcan Sea. We hereby call it for the immediate withdrawal of all naval vessels with any offensive capabilities from international waters. A lot of noise came from the assembly hall in response. Most of the Western Macopan delegates were clapping, while others either shouted in protest or sat in stony silence. Let us not forget about the recent event that transpired in another state with socialist teachings, a state that wages war against its own citizen, Wackland. Ooh. That's a bunch of horseshit. Wackland is not even socialist, it's a dictatorship. Strictly speaking, Smolak Party is called the Waxac Nationalist Party of Nurist Socialism. Like, this is why I hate about socialism and communism, is that like the people talking about them is that they can't even like, it's like trying to get angry. They point out Wackland, they hated Wackland because like they had the name socialism in it. It's like trying to like, if that is true, okay, if we just hated them and saying that they are socialists because of the name of the party, then in a sense, like North Korea should be touted as one of the most democratic parties in the world, because like if I'm not wrong, they are either North Korea is like Democratic Republic of North Korea. So by that logic, they are very pro-democracy. But as you know, it's not like that. So I feel like these people who keep on blaming like terrible countries for socialism, but they are actually like the opposite of it. Well, I won't say opposite of it. It's like they are a different style of governing. The purge of the minorities in the country was again largely ignored by the international community. I would go as far as call it genocide. Wackland violated our past treaties and mobilized their armed forces, deploying them closer to our borders and authorizing them to partake in massacres. Why didn't you let the refugees go through your border? That's the one thing I want to say. Lesbia was affected not only by the large wave of refugees coming from Wackland, but by subsequent government seizures of all our companies that were active in the country. We hereby call the member states to action against Wackland and its rogue government. Thank you. Honestly, that was not a bad speech. I agree. Not a bad speech. Like, it's not good. Like 30%, 40%. He walked back to his seat amidst enthusiastic applause from most of the Markopan delegates. President Nines waited for the noise to calm down and invited the next speaker, President Wacklin Victor Smolak. Smolak stood up as he walked past Patricio Alvarez. He brushed him aside with an exaggerated sweep of his arm. I think, like, even the United Contana doesn't agree with them. Like, from what I can see, they are the most democratic among all. When he reached the podium, he fumbled with the microphone for a few seconds. Then he smiled at Alvarez mockingly as he raised the height of it. Uh-oh. I think the real chaos will start now. Let's hope not. It will. Victor turned to President Nines and bowed slightly. Mr. President? He then turned back at us and stared out into the hall for a few seconds. Fellow delegates, it is true that the world today faces a multitude of challenges. In the midst of these challenges, the world's most powerful leaders gather here in Kairut. And what do they want? They make threats, promote hate, and spread lies. Is this the alliance of nations we all want? Where is the cooperation and friendship? Where is the unity? I want to remind you of the wars that the West fought on our soil, of the foreign troops who occupied our country and seized our valuable resources. I want to remind you how they stole the oil from our sacred soil, and they did not know when to stop. The Edo soldiers left, but their interference never ceased. They financed armed rebel groups whose only purpose is to create terror inside our country. So, fellow delegates, don't you dare speak about Wacklam before you acknowledge your involvement in our civil war. Before you acknowledge your own dark past. He's not entirely wrong. It is true that the Western powers had their hands in the Wackland Civil War, but it doesn't justify what they did to the Brutish. That's why I say he's not entirely wrong. I didn't say he's right. As is well known, after the tremendous tragedy of Wackland Civil War, Akaja made a deal with the United Contana where they agreed upon the withdrawal of their troops with the removal of half of our army. Not only did they weaken us, we were left alone in the facing of the genocidal British Freedom Front, which Edo funds together with Romberg. Huh? Since when? I'll show some evidence of foreign interference. He picked up a large stack of paper and waved them back and forth. I have clear evidence of direct aid from Romberg to the British Freedom Front. They smuggled tons of KA-74s in Wackland. They smuggled in their spies, smuggled in mercenary commanders. Yeah, he got balls taking on Romberg and the West like that. I got a feeling he's gonna suffer the nuke. David nodded in agreement. This document will be published everywhere. Copies has already been sent to the investigative affairs of the Alliance of Nations. I expect this organization to do its task and investigate this properly, instead of leaving Wackland behind as they have always done. Coming back to the case of lesbian representative, there is no evidence of civilian massacres by the West forces, nor so-called purges of minorities. Second, the operation was limited only to the militant BFF, not the Blues in general. Really? Really? Third, we know your government is also implicated in the funding of BFF, and that your oil companies aided the militants during the operation. Fourth, as a state, we only took what was ours. The companies the delegates spoke of were not only aiding militants, they were brought to Wackland by force. Know that Wackland will no longer recognize the right of any other country to determine what type of weapons we are permitted to possess, or what type of policies we have to follow within our borders. Wackland stand more united than ever. Our people have spoken. The enemies inside our borders are crushed. If I were to say, Victor is more or less Tarquin's soul. He's more or less Tarquin's soul back, in his prime. Now I every delegate here to read our report on the connection of the West with an armed militant in the Eastern Macopa, and I ask the Alliance of Nations to do what's right. Wackland only wants peace. Our people want peace. They are counting on the support and understanding of all the nations of the world. The proclamation free Wackland or death. The assembly roared with particularly loud applause coming from the seats of Rika Nation. He seems to be popular with Rika, doesn't he? Well, he played the victim here pretty strongly, and his anti-imperial stance has definitely earned him his sympathy from Rikans. Most of the continent still has not achieved stability after gaining their independence from colonial suzerains. It's easy to forget it has only been a few years since the revolutions. Victor slowly walked back to his seat and as he applauded himself. He saluted the Rican delegates as he passed them. Give me a second. Okay. Next is President Rayne invited Martin Van Houten to the podium. He walked up to the microphone with quick steps. He was frowning and clenching his fist. I could almost see his jaw trembling. Seems like Marty is not in the mood. Can you blame him? His navy is being harassed by Voxels every day now. Mr. President, fellow delegates of the Assembly, and friends, it is an honor to be with you today. I wish we could meet under different circumstances. Once again, the CSP nations, and in particular Voxland, have shown us that they are willing to do to achieve their political aims. I must first thank the delegates from Sordland for being brave enough to support Magnolia when the whole world left us alone. We were one of the first countries to propose a proper cooperation against Eastern Macopa nations. Yet, when we were threatened by Voxlandian expansionism, nobody came to our side. Although Mr. Alvarez voiced his indirect support for us earlier in today's session, I can't keep myself from wondering where he was when our fleets were under attack by the very socialists he spoke of. So here I am, asking for the support of fellow member states of the Alliance of Nations. Magnolia is under attack by Voxland. A loud banging noise emerged from the table of Voxlandian delegates. All of them were pounding their fists on the table. The delegates need to learn some respect, that's for sure. Mr. President, please moderate the assembly. This is more than disrespectful. Emmerich Hegel began shouting curses at Nines, repeatedly bang his gavel for order. After a minute and back and forth of shouting, the noise settles and Nines allowed Martin to continue. As you all know, our drilling ships, oil tankers, even fishing vessels have been disappearing in the Markian Sea, captured or sunk by Voxland. And the Voxland fleet is patrolling the seas around the Helgi land with complete disregard to international laws. I call on the Alliance of Nations to find a resolution to this never-ending conflict that Voxland created. We demand the immediate withdrawal of all naval forces from our territorial waters. Lileas terrors surround us on all sides. I call the democratic will to action against the tyranny of Malenism, authoritarianism, militarism, and extremism. The banging noise started again. Hegel stood up and approached the rostrum. You're a spineless jerk, a lackey of Arcadian imperialism. President Nines called for silence and started hitting the gavel. I just hope they don't do anything to Frank. Let's speak up in support of Van Houten. Maybe he's gonna support us a bit. I stood up. Let him speak. Why are you so afraid that you won't even let him finish? You have no right to intervene. Know your place, President Rayne. President Rayne smacked his gavel in vain as a shouting match broke out in the assembly. Finally, after a few minutes, the other Voxlandian delegates convinced Hegel to sit back down. I believe I don't need to speak about this subject. Everything is clear as day. Mr. Hegel's actions speak volumes about the reality of Voxland and their corrupted ideology. I hope to see the conflict resolved with the help of the Alliance of Nations soon. They quickly left the podium and nodded the other Agnolian delegate. The two left the assembly hall. President Rayne announced the next speaker. Emmerich Hegel. Hegel immediately took his place and spoke in a low, seething tone. Thank you. David, buckle up. It's the Chancellor's time. It looks like you're having fun, Mr. Rayne. First of all, I want to extend a due welcome to the new states from Rika that has joined this organization. After fighting for years against colonialism and imperialism, they more than earned our membership vote. I am overjoyed to see them finally represented in this assembly. As our numbers grow and more states are represented in this stage, we come closer to finding resolution to the conflicts that plagued us. For hundreds of years, the dominant economies of Maricopa raised, pillaged, and exploited the continents of Rika and Zina. Sadly, Voxland was also part of this plunder in the years before the revolution, when it still clung to the idea of imperialism. But when our masters found their voice, the old colonial power and their new financiers turned against them. These powers did whatever they could do to hamper our revolution. They did not want the people to be heard. They are scared of us for showing the possibility of a better path. Of course, they don't want us to succeed. They threaten the productivity that runs the blood and the sweat of the working class. And now, they have started labeling us as the aggressors. Yet, we all know it was the Acadians who built up military bases all around Maricopa. It was Edo that was first formed to fight against Malianism. Keep watching. Voxland holds the right to protect its territorial waters and trade from threats. The delegates from Lesbia and Agnolia brought up the Falenco Treaty, but what were they doing when the Edo forces patrolled the Antician Sea? They were silent. And what about Helgeland? How about the Vox being killed by the Agnolian government because they protested against an appointed governor? Agnolia and their alliance in Sordland have no right to claim that they are upholding liberty and democracy. Other nations have no right to intervene in the matters of Agnolia and Voxland. Just as no country in the world has the right to determine what type of naval vessel we use, no country can force us not to defend our seas. Against what? Fishing vessels? Well, it's not like they're fishing there. But in a sense, in a sense that they are here, okay, like Agnolia claim so they can fish around this area here, but Vox also claim, territory. So like the surrounding waters, fishing rights, it's in dispute. If there's a conflict the Alliance can resolve, let's start with the Acadian base on Ravnos Island. Lesbia has been housing Acadian troops and missiles by our border for years, and none of the member states even talked about it. I also want the member states to look into Acadian bases in Lesbia, and if the Alliance of Nations truly claims to have the people's best interests at heart, they cannot stay silent about what the Agnolian government did in Helgeland, or they took away the rights of our people. Perhaps then, there can be proper dialogue between our nations, and the Alliance of Nations can finally demonstrate that it can serve its intended purposes. But unfortunately, the Alliance of Nations remains all too willing to overlook such human rights violation. However, the Voxlandia government is ready as always to fight the forces of oppression and colonial servitude on behalf of free people of everywhere. He raised his left fist. A revolution Vescor. Was that Swedish? Did I catch that right? He said the revolution will come. Yes, but in all Volgish. Very similar to Swedish, right? Some words are even written the same way. But I'm surprised you caught from his accent. Most of the delegates from Zina, Rika, and Contana responded with thunderous applause. Hegel shook hands with them as he walked back to his seat. Our enemy in this game. Well, the country that basically we are in constant tension with. President Rayne announced the next speaker, Queen Beatrice Livingston. Dear President of the Assembly, dear delegates, dear leaders of the world. Just as my fellow Eastern Macopan delegates spoke about the trouble plaguing our continent, I also have to bring attention to the plight of the people of the North. The Alliance of Nations, the ADO, CSP, even the OMEC have never supported our people when they have been through tragic atrocities. OMEC. Yeah. Unlike many of the Western countries here, we never received financial aid when natural disasters struck our lands. The pain of our people was never recognized, not even when they faced the threat of genocide by the hands of Swedish kings. In light of all that, I implore this alliance to take a closer look at the actions of our Sordland neighbors. They took in traders and gave them protection. The president himself came to power amid murder and unrest, yet people from his administration had the guts to blame our government for inciting violence. And they expect the world to believe their lies. You can't let her speak out like that. Let's hear out. I hereby invite all of you to determine the initiation of a proper intergovernmental investigation into Sordland. If the Alliance continues to shirk its given duties, you can trust Romberg to take matters in her own hands. It is also important to point out that Romberg will not stand idly by if Kontanen and Akazian military are transferred to the Eastern Macopa. I hereby condemn CSP and ADO for trying to influence our region with their military power. Before I finish, I also want to say, Mr. Smolak, I look forward to reading your report. I wonder what this so-called evidence is all about. Know that your slander does not work on us. I know that we are ready to die for our freedom. Know that our kingdom stands firm and strong. Expect a grand awakening. Thank you. Grand awakening? That sounded like a threat. She left the rostrum without getting much applause. Then President Rayne spoke my name. Mr. Anton Rayne, President of Sordland, I invite you to address the assembly. David immediately started applauding. Good luck, Mr. President. Okay. Number one thing that I want to do is I want to denounce what she just said. Okay, like I want to point to her, to what she have done to us. In front of me, some of the most powerful leaders in the entire world. I look them in the eyes. Like there are two things I want to use. First of all, is the spy who said that they are building nuclear weapons, and another thing is that they shot down our plane. Thank you, Mr. President, fellow delegate. Anybody who has sent the rostrum must appreciate what a significant gathering he is addressing. This sounds a little bit sexist. The speaker who have preceded me have expressed their concern and their problem. Sordland remains committed to the Alliance of Nations and the ideas that gave birth to it. Yet we all know how often the noble ideas embodied in this charter remain unfulfilled, and we must remain devoted. I would like to stress the importance of these words, Alliance of Nations. I think I want to go with number 3. Our world is faced with dangers of division, dangers of large military alliances, and we're in a large military alliance right now, so we can't really say. It's like calling the pot calling the kettle black. So I think you should go for number 2. Our people are still not free from fear, not free from poverty and starvation. Now it is more important than ever to set aside our differences. Today we are confronted with a difficult choice. Our achievements may either be used for the benefit or detriment of mankind. Now I'd like to address some of the topics mentioned here today. It was it was earlier claimed that Westland was involved in genocide. Such strong words. There is. We are deeply saddened by the tragic events that took. We are deeply saddened, okay, by the tragic events that took place in Westland. Sordland stands together with the Bluish people. I also like to address Queen of Rumburg. She talked about some hypothetical threat that our nation possesses to Eastern Makopa, while Rumburg's military has tripled in the last decade. That is also true. I think number 3, Sordland always wanted to have peace between our nations, yet we are being threatened by Rumburg. We wanted to be diplomatic even when Rumburg shot down our plane. Yeah, this is it. I also have some evidence to show to the assembly. Mr. Smollett was right out of KA-74s. Rumburg has definitely been aiming the BFF in Sordland. We have discovered that many militant groups in Sordland were financed or being armed by Rumburg. There is also another important piece of evidence we have, provided to us by someone close to the Rumburgian government. Ooh, this is nice. Yeah. Mr. Hailstone was branded as a traitor in Rumburg for blowing the whistle on the country's hidden nuclear facilities. I hereby call on the Alliance of Nations to serve its duty. Rumburg and its nuclear facility must be properly investigated. Thank you for listening to our concern. I wish to see a resolution from AN soon. I'd like to bring my speech to a close. Okay, I think we're number 1. Thank you for listening to our concern. I wish to see a resolution to an AN soon. We stand and always will stand for the rights of people of Sordland and Eastern Makopa, just as in the other continents. Because we did have a relaxed immigration policy. The people of Sordland and I are honored to have expressed our concern before this noble assembly. Peace in Makopa, peace in the world. A Mogna West squall like nobody knows it. Patricio Alvarez stood up and started applauding. Well spoken. I heard thunderous applause from half of the assembly. Raise your fist. Pass. I walked back to my seat. David did not stop applauding until I sat down. How was it? It was not a bad speech, Mr. President. You did well. President Rayne announced the next speaker, Dwight Walker. Mr. President, I first want to congratulate you on your election to this high office. Mr. Secretary, delegates of the Alliance of Nations, ladies and gentlemen, fellow friends. We meet again on our quest to bring peace and light to this world, but even though some of the clouds have lifted, the world has not yet escaped darkness. The Contana Security Pact is rapidly expanding its influence. It is very troubling to see the democratic nations of Makopa be threatened by Maelvit's powers. I refer, of course, to the presence of Valkslandian and Contanan fleets in Markian Sea. They are harassing other nations and hampering international trade. If this is not an attack against world peace, an attack against free trading nations of the world, today our obligations to world peace are being tested by United Contana and the Maelvit's bloc. If we fail to counter this threat, if we stay idly and allow them to surround us with their war machines and blockades, I can say the same back to you. But we are a part of them now. So, if the attackers do not face any consequences, then this unstable peace we believe we had built will be the world's downfall, and posterity will point its finger at us for not stopping it. Emmerich Hegel and the other Voxlandia delegates started making noises again. This time Hegel has taken off his shoe and seriously, this time Hegel has taken off his shoe and was banging the table with it. Oh my god, Hegel! I have no words. The Chancellor has gone mad. Oh come on! He's taken off his shoe and was banging the table against it. It's getting ridiculous. He's not even ashamed at his age. Oh, look at this guy. This guy. 60-year-old? 70? You know, like taking off his shoe and banging the table with it. Oh my god. Yet we still believe United Contana and Acacia, together with their allies, can come to an understanding for our mutual benefit and our desire to avoid the destruction of the world. We believe that all the people of the world must be free to choose their own future. No country, be it Acacia or United Contana, has the right to impose its value on others. But I will say this to the leaders of United Contana: if either of us is to be secure, we need to have a peaceful cooperation, not defense system, force blockades, or show of naval superiority. If the Alliance of Nations cannot find a resolution to this conflict, the Edo remains ready and able to react. Hegel stood up. Hegel stood up with the shoe in his hand. What is that supposed to be? You're promoting war in the Alliance of Nations? Mr. President, this cannot... Nine slammed the gavel and shouted, "Silence, please. Mr. Chancellor, let me finish. We did not interrupt you when you addressed the Assembly. I must also raise my concern about the threat of Romberg poses to Eastern Macopa. The speakers who preceded me clearly showed that the tensions are rising. The reports from Westland and Sordland are troubling. The representatives from both countries referred to Ka-74s being smuggled within their borders. Mr. Rayne also pointed out the construction of nuclear weapon in Romberg. Our intelligence also confirms this. Acacia and Edo will stand against the aggression of Romberg. They are playing a dangerous game, one that might bring ruin to Macopa and their own lands. I believe Alliance of Nations can find a resolution to this conflict as well. If not, let it be known that Acacia will stand together with Sordland. Romberg cannot do as it please." Do you think Romberg can pursue any more aggression after that statement? I doubt that. With our membership in Edo and Acacia clear support, the Queen needs to be crazy to try anything. Finally, I propose that the Alliance of Nations undertake the noble cause of helping the people of the world through rewriting and properly enforcing its Human Rights Declaration. The Alliance of Nations cannot survive as a static organization. Its size and duties are increasing enormously. It should adapt to the changing world. But peace and right do not rest in the hands of this organization alone. They rely on the hearts of the people and the spirit of the cooperation between our nations. So let it be known, my fellow inhabitants of this world, let us take our stand and see if we can finally achieve a lasting peace. Thank you. Most of the assembly applauded his speech, the Edo delegates in particular. Stand up and applaud his speech. The applause continued for some time. Walker shook hands and with various delegates on his way back to his seat. President Rayne announced the last speaker. It was Leon Mayalev. Whatever. Mayalev slowly walked out to the rostrum in his hiding suit. All the CSP delegates stood up and applauded him. Honorable Chairman and the fellow delegates of Alliance of Nations, here we are again at the most esteemed meeting of the State of Representatives in the world. However, increasingly we are being threatened, disregarded, attacked, or ignored in the Assembly. The representative of Acacia just shown this unfriendly attitude towards us yet again. Acacia would have you believe we are standing in the way of lasting peace. Yet, the peace they talk about was only possible thanks to our missiles and our growing base in the developing world. The Edo kept waging wars against People's Revolution and forcing new independent states to be their puppets, binding them to themselves through the Akazian Lira. And now, yet another Akazian president is telling us that we are the aggressors and they are the keepers of peace. We will not be silenced against these lies. When was this peace talk you talk about? When was this cooperation between our countries? Have you ever accepted our invitation to talk about denuclearization? If you don't like us, don't accept our deals. Don't listen to our concerns and keep pointing finger at us. Why did you invite us to the Alliance of Nations? Every year, United Contana comes to this assembly to address the real problems of real people, people who suffer because of your system, your wars, and your ignorance. Whether you like it or not, we will keep representing the laborers, the slaves, the oppressed in the world, and believe it or disregard it, history is on our side. We say to the representative of the capitalist country, come and visit us, come and see the revolution working in Contana. Show our continent to your people without distorting the reality. If you cannot do that, you need not come. They're saying that like they're not doing that, right? Like they are also brainwashing them. He believes socialism will triumph over capitalism in the end. Such is the logical conclusion of the development of humankind. This time, lesbian delegates started laughing very loudly. Some other delegates booed. Mainland is living in his dreams, you think? We can keep laughing, gentlemen. Communism will bury you. Suddenly the laughing turned to shouting. If you really believe in cooperation, we will be waiting. We are not going anywhere. However, if Edo keeps intervening in our matters, it is natural that CSP will react. Despite threats from Edo, Ramberg, or any other nations or organization, it must not succumb to any further division and violence. We must ask ourselves, what do the people of our countries expect us? They surely don't want war and bloodshed. So let us leave the children and grandchildren good memories of our time and a better future for all. Let them look at history and say, once there was a great division and complex problem, but the leaders of the world came together in the Alliance of Nations and succeeded in settling them in order to ensure our peaceful lives. Let us act in such a way to make this session not a session of threats, but a session of hope, and the realization of them. The government of United Contana and United People of Contana are ready to serve the duties for world peace. Long live the People's Revolution. Don't react. The assembly broke into massive applause. The applause continued for some time. Mayenlev slowly walked back to his seat as the president announced a break. That was a lot. It definitely was. It's quite scary, to be honest. We need to be careful. We walk out the hall to have some lunch and fresh air. Edo modernizes Sordland Air Force. This is just a report. We know this from the beginning. Election poll results. Our election polls show us that 60% would... 16%? Uh-oh. Yep, we're gonna lose our election. For sure. Private meeting with David Whiskey. David had scheduled a private meeting with me, but he didn't specify what it was about. I heard a knock at the door. Mr. President, may I come in? Take a seat, Mr. Whiskey. Thank you. He slowly made his way towards the chair in front of my desk and sat down. First of all, thank you for your time. Anything for you, David? I wanted to ask you how you're doing. I'm fine, thanks for asking. That's very good. Please be sure to take some time for yourself and amid all of this. If you ignore mental fatigue, it will slowly creep in on you. It will poison your thoughts. Thank you for your valuable advice. Thank you for taking my advice over the years. He started coughing. What a privilege for me. I had the chance to watch my student grow into a fine and strong leader in my lifetime. What a privilege indeed. You have brought reform to Sordland. You, my student, actually did it. You don't know how proud I was to be alongside you. This was only the beginning. Much more awaits on the horizon. Let me see. It wouldn't be possible without you. You're too kind, Mr. President. David coughed again, this time for longer. I overheard the conversation the other day near a newspaper stand. It piqued my interest, so I kept listening. They were talking about you. They will call you a radical centrist? What do you think about that? I'm refused to be called a centrist. My father, after whiskey, used to say, always know yourself. He stopped for a moment and took a quick look at his watch. So the elections are fast approaching. How are you feeling about chances? I can't say for sure, but I'm hopeful. Good, that is what a leader would say. I'm afraid I have an announcement to make to you. An announcement? What kind? After the term is done, I'll be retiring. I'll be lying if I say I wasn't expecting this. I've been in this line of work for many decades now. I swore an oath to myself years ago. I would quit if I ever felt like I didn't have the physical capability to serve anymore. At that point, I would just become a hindrance. That time has come, Mr. President. My bones are aching, my hands are shaking, my voice is failing. I assume that he's around 70. At least 70. Like, he's a wise man. And I can see, like, if he's in his prime, he will either be at Lucian level or even greater. So I really do appreciate him. And I do want him to be in our administration. But he's getting old. He wanted the best for, if like anybody should become a prime minister, like the head of state, without a doubt, David is the best person for among everybody in the game. He really wanted the best for the country and the world. He winked at me and chuckled with which turned into another cough. You have been a mentor, a teacher, and a friend. Thank you for your service to this country. It was an honor, Mr. President. David stood up and left. Hugged David. We hugged. Best of luck, Anton. Thank you. He turned around and left. We're gonna lose the election because of the economy. This graph changes Anton Rayne. Workers' Party coming strong. Saudi's foreign minister retires. Rama possesses nuclear weapons. Yeah, we know of this because like we housed the spy. Well, I'll say the spy, the defector. Existence of nuclear weapon in Rama confirmed. Okay. USB Congress called. Friday afternoon in the office. Office of the President of Sordland, Maroon Palace. The door opened and Lucian entered. Mr. President, there is a problem. What kind of a problem? Mr. Ho wants to speak with you. He's in the White Room. Please follow me. Uh-oh. What's so urgent? I was just told to come and get you, sir. I opened the doors and we entered the White Room. I looked around. Simon was sitting, playing with a pen in front of him. Good evening, Mr. President. I'm here to let you know that I'll be handing my residence shortly. Let's just calm down. We can work something out. I'm afraid I can't calm down. Calm down. I'm sorry, Mr. President, but this is the end of the road. I simply can't go on anymore. But why? What are your reasons? I suppose I owe you an explanation. I failed my mission as the Minister of Economy. During our term, instead of stepping into recession, we made it worse and entered Swedish depression. I blame myself for this. I couldn't offer you a better solution. The thing is that I don't know why that we didn't generate passive income. The budget never improved back. Okay, I didn't expect to receive budget every time. But at least every year, okay? There are certain points in the game this is based on the economy of the country, but we never gain any gain in GDP. The budget stays the same when even after 3 years. Okay, the only thing that changed is that when we receive aid or we enact bill, okay, either we receive taxation or when we spend, but we never generate passive income. If we have that, I would this is the 3rd year, so if let's say at worst we gain 2 budget, okay, 2 budget per turn, okay, because our economy is at first it was at 5, okay, so generate 2 budget every year, then we can reduce the budget deficit, okay. And since the fact that we never receive anything, it keep on going down and down, and it downgraded our credit rating. I really wish that if we had that, then somehow we would be able to stabilize our country much faster. Because if we have money, we can spend it and improve it. I've proven that I'm unfit to serve as Minister of Education Economy in Sordland. I'll resign at the end of our term. Please don't do this, Simon. I'm to blame, not you. I'm afraid things are already in motion, Mr. President. I took a deep breath. I look at Simon's determined face. I have no choice but to accept your resignation. Uh-oh. Simon and Lucian left, and I took a seat alone in the white room. Uh-oh. 2. Oh boy. Future of Rayne's cabinet. Going to be an impact election as President Rayne is gearing up towards the 2nd term. United Sordland Party Congress. It was a day of the United Sordland Party Congress. For the 3rd time in the party and Sordland's history, a candidate was challenging an incumbent president. So again, driving me up to the Grand National Assembly for the historic event. I look out the window as we pass through the small forest dividing the Maroon Palace and the Assembly. I thought about the day I announced my candidacy against Ewald Alfonso while he was still president. I remember how, just a few years before that, Ewald has challenged Tarquin Sol. How are you feeling back there, sir? I'm worried about today. I'm sure that you're going to win again, sir. No need for undue stress. Sergei made a left turn out the forest and entered the vast garden area of the assembly. I still don't believe how Miss Graff could run against you. She owed her position to you. Some people have no respect or gratitude, Sergei. Indeed, sir, it makes me sad to see a respectable woman like Miss Graff act in such a way. He parked the car in front of the gate that led to the USV's wing of the assembly. Good luck, Mr. President. See you on the way back. See you on the way back. I entered the building and joined the crowd of influential politicians, lobbyists, and benefactors who had gathered for this turning point. It was almost time for debate. The crowd dispersed and the members of the USB went inside the Congress Hall. United Sordland banners hung from every possible spot. I tried to mentally prepare for my speech, but the lingering memories from the first 2 leadership races were making it hard for me to focus. As if on cue, Lileas strode past me in the hall, accompanied by a large group of her supporters. Instead of her usual beige, she wore a sun yellow skirt and blazer. Iosef was on her left. I tried to ignore them as I entered the hall. I took a seat next to Lucian and waited for the session to begin. Mr. President, time to face Lileas. How are you feeling about the vote? The cabinet resignation cost you quite a bit of support. It's not an optimal situation. It's going to be a very close race. But I'm positive that if you remind them who you are right before the vote, you can win the day. Of course I will. Sir, looks like it's starting. He pointed at the podium. Albin Clavin was there. He's about to introduce the candidates. Ladies and gentlemen. The hall fell silent as he continued. We gather here today in the 28th Congress of the United Sordland Party for the third leadership race in its history. As one of the youngest members of the Assembly, I'm honored to be opening this historic session today. The member of the USP will soon be voting on whether President Rayne or Lileas Graf shall assume the leadership going forward. Now, if I had Gloria as my as my VP, then maybe she would like bring the conservative to my side, which I really regretted not doing. Like there are a couple of things that I would do differently. So without doubt, Gloria is the most recent one. Okay, and further back, I would say like instead of going for agricultural zone in Sarna, I would have built like maybe electronics or automation factory. Either these two, okay? And next will probably be the most important thing I feel is like the highway. I shouldn't build the highway. I should build the railway. The reason I build the highway is that I want Agnolia to be our partner, which in a sense kinda wishful thinking that that's gonna bring a lot of economy to our side. I knew from the very beginning that the railway would definitely be a good boost to the economy, but I didn't expect their contribution to my economy is this little. Before we begin the selection process, I would like to invite both candidates to give very short speeches. First, I would like to invite President Rayne, the fourth president of Sordland and the chairman of our party. I stood up and walked to the podium, and amid applause and campaign music, I shook his hand before I began addressing the party. Thank you, Albin. Fellow members of the USP, because remember, this is just the USP, we are not talking with other groups. I did my best in order to make Sordland a better place. I took office to bring reform to this country. And I did. And together, we succeeded. I took a deep breath. But I believe if we stand together, nobody can stop us. But I'm here to do more. Like, it shows that that's our biggest accomplishment, and that is what we promised the people. Okay? Help me continue our fight to make this country great. What I have achieved in my first term cannot be denied. Like talk about your successes. Let's unite under this flag one more time. I don't think Miss Graf can provide any alternative. The thing is that I don't want if I do not fall to Miss Graf lies. He betrayed our trust by leaving a very important office. Well, that is true, but then she can say, I did this because I don't trust you anymore. Like, number 2 and number 3 is the same. Let's unite under this flag once more. Miss Graf is a puppet of Tuckman, so this is his party, so we can't really say that. Do you want to give control to this party to a woman who ran away from her duties? I know you will do the right thing. Let's get this over with. Elect me again so we can continue our great transformation. A Mogna Vescor. Campaign music started blaring again as I left the podium. Albin shook my hand and walked back to my seat at the sound of loud applause. Like, I hope that Albin will bring his party to my side, because he is the Reformers Party in the party. He's the head of it. It was a good speech, sir. Congratulations. Alvin spoke from the podium again. Thank you again for your speech, Mr. President. Okay, invite the next candidate to the stage. She is the most experienced and respected member of the party. We all know her from her accomplishment in Armory and Hallsword and Sordland Interior Minister. Let's welcome the former Interior Minister of Sordland, Lileas Graf. The hall started applauding. Lileas walked up to the podium accompanied by an old nationalist song about the Swedish Civil War. Aletta Inta Norsi, the light in the darkness. Her eyes had a fire in them that I had never seen before. Fellow compatriot, it is an honor to be candidate for the leadership for the great United Sordland Party. She pulled out a handkerchief and dabbed at her ears. Forgive me, this beautiful song always fills me with emotion. My opponent might call that a weakness. I consider it strength. That's singing Vixen. She got the. We know she's not like that. It brings me hope to see all the energy in the Congress Hall today, but hope alone does not suffice. I do not want to listen to her songs any longer. I want to sing them from the rooftops. What is it that you want, sons and daughters of Sordland? I'll tell you right now. You want a president who will stand bravely against the wealthy elites in their mansions, rather than kowtow to their every demand. You want a Sordland that protects its own, rather than letting in foreigners who have no respect for our culture. You want a strong and united Sordland. And I'm here to tell you that none of these things are possible as long as President Rayne is in office. As those who rule the state become more and more alienated from the values that makes us who we are, and the deplorers who stand silent against this sink us deeper into a quagmire of moral and cultural corruption. He tore his wife away from her rightful place at home and forced her into politics in the name of women's liberation. Did you forget your gender? Did you forget your gender? Seriously? Seriously? Oh my god. If I can say something, Lileas, you're a woman as well. And he did all of that without even managing to fix the recession. Swedish people are suffering. Like I say, the budget did not recover. Like, I expected like at least one per year. Like, I wish that the system would like more balance it out. Like, if it's at one, like you're gonna gain one per turn or something like that. But the thing is, I was at 5 in the beginning, and I don't think my budget improved. Ah boy. But beyond all, Mr. Rayne tried to throw our founder in prison. He has dragged this party and its upstanding reputation through the mud for too far long. Don't comment. Don't worry, sir. Let her say what she wants. The result won't change. After nearly 4 decades of the President behaving abnormally against my advice, I had no choice but to tender my resignation. For I believe we could achieve much more. For I still believe in the idea of United Sordland. I appeal to your innate senses of honor and dignity as Swedish people. Elect me as your leader, and I promise that the Lord on my side, I shall elevate this party and the glorious nation to the heavens. Mr. Rayne, your time leading the country is through. I'm here to bring down the walls you built. Thank you, a walk now West Core. don't do anything. The voting began. I fill out my ballot, make an X in my own name, and line up to drop it in the ballot box. After all the votes were cast, we sat back down and waited for the announcement. After some time, Alvin appeared on the stage again. Thank you everybody for voting today. The results are ready. After recounting every vote, I got a feeling I'm gonna lose. The winner is, today's leadership vote is determined to be Lileas Craft. Knew it. I congratulate our new leader and our next candidate for president. The thing is, my welfare, look at that! Almost everything is green. Like, that didn't factor in, well, the economy is in shambles. But like I say, wait. This is stupid. Aglan lacks investment? Aglan lacks investment? Seriously? Aglan lacks investment? He built a highway. Like, I even signed a trade deal against, with Magnolia. And this is how you repeat. Oh my god. What's the point then of building the highway? I think like that's about 20%. I couldn't believe it for a moment. My sight darkened. All I heard was the shouting, Lileas. Are you okay, sir? I'm fine. I sank down in my seat and sighed deeply. Well, we had a good run. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic. What will you do now? Mr. President, my political career didn't start with you and it won't end with you. Besides, you're not going anywhere, are you? Of course not. Then, I'll support you. As long as you'll figure out a good plan. I don't think I should start my own, party. Just did. I'll continue my politics in another party. I'll join the PFJP. I'll campaign for them and make sure Lileas loses. I always felt closer to them. It was time I left USP anyway. From the very beginning, I'm not on their side. That's an interesting plan, sir. I support your decision. However, I don't think I'll be leaving the USP myself. I'm sorry. I thought you followed me anywhere. There's no need for drama, sir. You lost and now you're angry. I get it. But as I said before, my political career didn't start with you and it won't end with you. Somehow I expected I'll be alone in this. If Peter was with us, I wasn't sure if my plan would even succeed. I thought back of many years in the USB, then I thought about the future. I needed to plan my next steps. Uh-oh. Rayne joins PFJP, endorses Richter. Rayne backed Richter in desperate party switch. Dinner at home. With the election incoming, I've practically been sleeping at the Maroon Palace lately, but tonight I made a deliberate effort to get home early. I told Monica and Diana I wanted a family supper, just like the old days. Monica had promised to cook something special. The usual crowd of protesters was waiting for me outside the gates of the complex. The guards formed a cordon to let me through. I hurried past them, went inside and locked the front door behind me. I heard footsteps coming my way. Hi, Papa. Diana, how was school today? He shrugged. I won a prize at the science fair. Honestly, I think they were teaching girls different stuff before, cause they knew we were smarter than the boys. You might be right. Diana smiled. Mama's in there. I've got to do some homework before dinner. I followed her with my eyes as she went upstairs. She was starting to look more and more like her mother. I stepped into the kitchen. Monica was stirring a pot on the stove, her back turned on to me. I hugged her from behind. She screamed and dropped her ladle. When she realized it was me, she smiled and gave me a kiss on the cheek. Sorry, Anton. I guess I've been on edge lately. Why don't you go fix yourself a drink in the living room? I'll let you know when dinner's ready. I sat down in the living room, poured myself a bit of whiskey, and flipped through one of Monica's woman magazine. It took me a second to realize Monica herself was on the cover. The headline, Sordland Woman of the Year. Diana came rushing back down the stairs and made a beeline for the coffee table. She picked up the pencil case. I almost forgot that. What do you hear from your brother these days? Not much. He writes me letters sometimes. Papa, are we bourgeois pigs? Frank's just been spending too much time in United Contana, sweetie. Monica appeared in the doorway. She smiled at the two of us. Dinner's ready. The three of us gathered around the dining room table. Monica ladled out bowls of zabla. The stew tasted as good as it smelled. Now that we're all here, I wanted to say something. I know the past 4 years has been hard on all of us. I've been so busy focusing on the needs of Swordfish people that I sometimes forget about Sordland's most important people, my wife and daughter. I hope someday I can make it up to you. Monica's eyes were shining. Once the election's over, I'm taking you both on a holiday. Monica sighed heavily. Anton, I think you should quit politics. Not just drop out of the election. Retire. What? Why? With everything that's happened, I don't think you belong in government. Of course I don't want to lose progress we've made for women, but I'm afraid that'll happen anyway. You being president, it hasn't been easy on any of us. Maybe we could go back to the way things were before. Yeah, the economy is too terrible. Yeah, you made a point. I'll retire. Monica gave me a look of gratitude. I truly think it's for the best. Diana still looked confused. Does that mean we're not gonna live here anymore? We could stay here, but we don't have to. We can do whatever we want. As I spoke, I felt like a weight was lifting from my shoulders. I knew I made the right choice. I'm still going to keep fighting for women's rights, no matter who wins the election. And I won't stop fighting for the causes I believe in, from a distance. Monica and I smiled at each other. Cool, it'll be an adventure. Can we finish dinner now? Of course. The three of us dug into our food and started talking about what we'd do once I was no longer president. When we were done, I went up to my study and started drafting my retirement speech. Continue. Sometime later. Yeah, today will be the last stream probably. Like I said, the biggest problem is that the budget never recovered. Announcement of retirement. It was a beautiful October day. There was a soft knock on the open door of my office. The camera crew was here to film my retirement speech. As the director gave the signal to roll the camera, I fumbled with the notes I had prepared. People of Sordland, it gave me great pleasure and great sorrow to address you for what may be the last time. The truth is, I've done my part for this country, and I'm proud of what I achieved. So I've also left the country in shambles. I also did, in economic-wise. Constant distraction from our enemies abroad made it possible for me. At the end of my term, I'll be ending my... My political opponents block me at every turn by trying to... just say it nicely. I'm ending my political career for personal reasons. I thank my family for making me the man I am today. I'm very lucky to have them. Monica walked out onto the stage. When I said that, the crowd cheered one more time. Is it like thank you? Like to say thank you to the people or to Monica? And my greatest thanks goes out to all of you who came here today. You are the backbone of this campaign. Your noise is shaking the whole country. I must also thank every one of our citizens who resisted and fought with us. I had to pause and wait for a giant wave of applause to subside. Sorted. You once protested our corrupt political establishment, and you elected me to fight for you, to finally put Sordland first. In 1954, Swords have been given cliffs to climb and found the tenacity to climb them. Now we can see the valley below. With the power entrusted you upon us, my administration fought to serve our interests alone. When I look back, I see achievement that will never be forgotten. We have amended our once untouchable constitution and opened the way for further reforms. As I promised 4 years ago, I have made education the focus of my administration and greatly expanded our services to the Swordish people. We have improved rural treatment substantially by hiring health staff and upgrading equipment. We built new rural schools and increased access to education. We have established minimum wage and expanded rights and legal protection for our workers. Every one of my decisions was made to serve all Swordish regardless of their ethnic background, religion, or personal wealth. My term saw a great expansion of women's rights. Swordish women now finally have a voice. By establishing the Free Trade Commission, we ensured healthy competition so that our citizens can buy higher quality products for less. The crowd was cheering President Rayne. Ado. I don't want to go against maleism. As a new member of Ado, we will be walking towards the future with more confident steps, together with our allies. I look at my supporters. I've demonstrated that Sordland can improve as a society. Never lose hope, my fellow citizen. I'd like to make a statement regarding the future of the country. As for who should be running in the country in my stead, I stand by my support of the PFJP. It has been an honor to serve you. I nodded at the camera woman. She stopped filming. Well done as usual. If you don't mind, how exactly do you plan to spend your retirement? I still haven't decided. Later that evening, I sat at home, a glass of whiskey in one hand and a map of Macopa on the other. Monica came in and sat down next to me. She put a hand on my shoulder. What's the plan, Mr. President? I got a few ideas. Well, I hope they involve staying in Sordland. Even if my days in politics are over, I could still make a difference with the Swedish League of Women. Give me a second. Sorry, I had a phone call just now. Also, I wouldn't mind joining Frank in the United Contana. Or we could spend some time in Arcadia to learn their women's rights movement. Do you still have shares in the electronics business over there? Armandine, and yes. What do you think? Let's go to Arcadia. I think that's better. We could certainly live like royalty, I'm sure. Let's break the news to Diana tomorrow. Kiss her. I put Monica in for kids, so I was headed for a new life in a new country, my family by my side. As I finished my drink, I wondered what life after the presidency would look like. Chapter 4, Checkmate. "1958, on your last day as President of Sordland, you clear out your personal belongings from your office at the Maroon Palace. Sergei gave you a ride home for the last time. It felt sad. After that day, Franz Richter was inaugurated as the new President of Sordland. You sincerely wish him luck. Take that, Lileas." As well. Like, I do align myself with the PFJP rather than the WSP. With your presidency behind you, you set out to begin your new life in Arcadia. After transferring your money to the local currency, you could afford a small cottage in the country. So it was first uncomfortable with the country's rampant capitalism. You gradually settled in your new role as the board of Amandine Enterprises. Monica, meanwhile, was thrilled by the possibilities and the viewpoints the Arcadia women's movement have to offer. In the face of escalating tension in United Contana, you had a bunker built just in case. 65. A series of breakthrough inventions made Armandine one of the most wealthiest corporations in Arcadia. You and your family suddenly had more money than you will ever be able to enjoy in Sordland. You start a charitable foundation to stop global hunger. Political commentators like to say that the Rayne Foundation had helped more people than you ever had as a president. On your visit back to Sordland, you were welcomed as a hero. Frank, by now living on a farming commune in United Continental, reached out to reconcile. You accepted. Huh? You live out the rest of your days in comfort, insulated from the global tensions around you. Your only regret was you. Actually, you had no regrets. Okay. Give me a second. Just give me a second. Let me just check. Okay. For President of Sordland, Vice President Peter Vectorn and Lucian Galade, preceded by Alfonso, succeeded by Franz Richter. Okay, this one doesn't mean much. 1954, 1958, 1.6 million people lose their job. 81% fewer maternal deaths were recorded. During protests, 2 billion SR worth of public property damage was done, and 821 arrests were made. 33,760 people were arrested for their suspected ties to Red Youth and Young Swords. 87,000 soldiers become unemployed. 34,000 people with British descent were jailed, and 239 were killed. 39,000 legal cases were delayed. 614,470 women joined the workforce, and 805,000 girls were enrolled at the secondary education for the first time. 81,000 companies declared bankruptcy. 259,000 students left secondary education without graduating. Like I say, the biggest problem is that I can't improve my. I didn't get the chance to improve my my budget. Like right now, seeing how much impact, which is none, close to none, from England, the highway is such a stupid move. And like, okay, the thing is that they asked for. England asked for better trade route, and they want they want to deal with our agriculture, they want to buy our produce. I improved that. It didn't improve at all. I was like, if you have that combo together, and then like it will further improve it. But then it's like all it does is sink. It sucked money out of my administration like crazy. That's like one of my biggest regrets. Like trying to base all of my decisions on England. Agnolia. Without a doubt, I feel like aligning with England, Agnolia, it did buy some time, okay? Because we have a treaty. Now that I think about it, I should have just go for pure do what's best without thinking about them. If that, then maybe our economy will be better. Like I say, I also hope that they generate wealth as well. But you can't cry over spilled milk. Now, what I'm thinking of playing next is that there's another game, The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. But Life and Suffering of Sir Brante, it's okay. I checked on how long to beat this game. Suzerain, it says like maybe like 10 to 15 hours. But then Life and Sordland, it's like they it takes a longer time now. Because they have more. It's a sort of a choice heavy game. So I feel like if I play that, it's gonna take quite a lot of time, maybe like 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe what I'm thinking of playing first is like it's also going to be like a story heavy game. I'm thinking of playing Rockwood Academy first. Like I think it will be like within a week I can finish it, even though there's no how should I say this, like data on it. But it's you need to say that game. It's like that game is very, if I were to describe it, the theme is Hogwarts with furries. Hogwarts with furries. Like you have, satyr and like demi-humans. Okay, so that interests me, and like relationship building. Like after playing Persona 4, I'm quite interested in playing games that build relationship and like build relationship and getting into romance. Like I'm gonna get addicted to that. So I want to play that, but like I say, I think that it will take less time compared to the life and suffering of Sordland. So I put that a bit back. Okay, so like after I finish Rockwood Academy, I'll go for that, because like Life and Suffering of Sordland is bundled up with this game, and assumingly that both of the developers, like they understand that their goal and their gameplay and their ideas like match up. So maybe the Life and Suffering of Sordland, like there's multiple endings. Maybe I'm interested in playing more than one ending. So I'm just gonna point that out. So the first thing I'm gonna do is next week I'll replace Rockwood Academy, and when we finish that, we go with Life and Suffering of Sordland. Yeah. So that's the plan. Pretty bad. Well, I wish like the people would actually credit me for my success as well, especially in the welfare department. But then again, like nobody like praised me for stopping the polio and stuff. Oh well. At least we helped them. But I can't believe that Frank became a farmer, What kind of a crazy life that was. Okay. So I think like you guys who watch this like can see my thoughts in all of this. Like, so yeah, I hope that we can see I hope that Life and Suffering of Sordland. I've never played the game. I'm gonna go with it blind, okay? Like probably the following week I'm gonna play it. But first of all, like next weekend, I'll have my JLPT exam, so I need to focus a bit on studying my Japanese a bit. Okay, like it's my first time taking JLPT N1, the highest grade, but I hope I can pass. Like it'll be a bit of a stretch to say that I think I can 100% pass, because like there are some people who said that they've taken 3, 4, or 5 times and still they couldn't get it. But since I put quite a lot of time and effort into it, so I think that's for the better. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, and like I say, I'll be playing a new game starting on Monday, replacing Suzerain. Okay, so with that said, I'll end the stream here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.